God of War getting great reviews. I'll watch one review. Well, actually, no, I don't want to be spoiled at all. I already knew it'd get like perfect scores. IGN also gave Deathloop a 10 too. Don't even remind me of that shit. I don't know what happened. Like, the collective game journalists all at the same time started taking stupid pills and gave Deathloop rave reviews. I still don't understand what exactly happened there. Because Deathloop literally just plays itself. Even then, though. Bro, the multiplayer didn't even work.
Alright, well,
Like, it was a
since you're worried about
non-functional
spoilers,
component of
could
the
you
game
possibly
and
elaborate
didn't
on what
work.
happened in
Have
this?
you seen the top 10 most disliked
I think
IGN
you're gonna
reviews of
end
all
up with
time?
severe autism.
Recently. Let's see.
I
I'm
have
going to
not.
take a couple guesses here on a few of them. I think Deathloop is going to be on here. Well, actually, no. This might be going in the opposite
Probably
direction,
not.
giving low scores to great games. Okay, if it's that, then the water one, obviously,
Let's see if
a
it
given.
pays off.
I actually can't think of any off the top of my head. I can only think of extremely high scores to games that absolutely didn't deserve it. I can't think of any low games to games that deserved higher.
Video game journalists, inscrutable folk, but in many ways we should be thanking them because
What a
every now
crazy
and then
What
we
about
should
this
find
one?
amongst ourselves to call a brief
Wow.
truce, congregate around the
Jesus.
dislike button, sitting at a respectable 19,000 dislikes.
Thank you for your
That's not bad
service,
for
sir.
IGN.
Once again gave
I feel like I have to give him some support in this difficult time.
9.2 out of 10 with 0 cons. If it has no
Wow.
cons, why not give it a 10?
I am leaving gaming because
To
I
be
don't like
fair,
getting people who
and
do are annoying.
will never go to bat
Because
for
that would be
IGN.
too easy.
But to be fair, just because there's no complaints doesn't mean the game is like a masterpiece or perfect. Like I do.
I'm not
disagree.
saying
Like,
it's
if you
bad,
can't
I'm
think of anything
saying it's
negative, then that
average.
means it's perfect. No, it doesn't mean that. Like
You're a pretty
it's
smart
great at
person and
everything
that
it does,
amazing
but it doesn't
person.
mean it's like the perfect product.
It
everyone's
means
going
that
to
like
love.
it's the best at everything.
I know, right?
Angry when they rate a game too high.
I don't remember
Especially when that
Black Ops
game
3
is from a
being bad.
franchise like Call of Duty
Man, we're
with
going way back.
20,000
What the
dislikes.
fuck?
The reviewer basically tears the game to shreds.
There's one thing you should know about Sonic Unleashed before spending your hard-earned money on it. It's a big piece
I
of
have a
shit.
friend who has a really good gaming PC and he plays it all the
It's
time.
games like this that make reviewers rethink their lives. Now,
It's
I
not
have a
that
theory when
bad.
it comes to Sonic games. Oh, and you can cleanse people's souls by taking pictures of them. I'm not even joking about that.
That's fucking
In the
hype
world
though.
of video games, gamers
Holy
really
shit.
had
It's not
no
like an
interest.
amazing game, but it's fine. I remember Unleashed being okay.
I mean, I'm only really into fighting
didn't hate
games,
it.
so I don't consider these
A
to be
9
that
out of
great.
10, the dreaded, bloated third act. You know a game
That's not even wrong. I actually said something very similar back when I first beat this game. That is very fair. That is super fair. Like, that's just Uncharted fans being salty. That's a very fair criticism.
You just can't stop making
but
jokes,
IGN
man.
have to meet us halfway. They can't give Black Ops 3 a 9.2.
Yeah,
Eden
if you're
is
gonna-
the
so
worst.
this
I
is-
don't know why
I
they
think this is
even
fair.
bother with
It
it
is a much
anymore,
better game
and
than
that's
Black
what
Ops
makes
3,
them so
for
bad
sure.
at their job. They're
But I
just a
think they
bunch
grade
of
it
clowns.
differently, right? Like, I feel like it's not far-fetched to be like, for a fucking Call of Duty multiplayer shooter, 9.2 makes sense, and then grade Uncharted differently. It's two different people on two different.
I
very
agree
different
100.
I'm aware of that.
But yeah, if you're going to compare direct scores, then yeah, it's a little odd that Uncharted 4 would be lower than Black Ops 3. Man, this video is actually... like, the video is actually convincing me IGN's done an alright job with some of this shit. I've been like a big IGN
Uncharted is
watcher
peak
for a
game
minute,
series, if
but
you
I
ask me.
completely agree with them on Uncharted 4. That is super fair criticism. And Black Ops 3 was good.
But isn't the point of
Like,
this
it's
thread
not the
to
best,
criticize
9.2
things you
is
don't
high,
like?
But it was good.
Where SMT5 consistently fell short for me as a massive Persona fan, though, was the writing. It takes
Yeah, you can never do
upwards of
that.
20 hours to
I am
Even
not
having
sure
that
about that
there's
one
no
either.
point comparing it to
I
the
think it's pretty
Persona
good, but in the end, still
figuring out what's
debatable.
going on, in contrast to
I
Persona
get the complaint
5,
there.
which makes things personal right away. I just couldn't shake the feeling
I
that this
agree,
was
but I
made
think
so
you're
well
missing
without
my
the
meaning.
heart.
It was more of an example than anything else.
Being that it's not like Persona is mental. And
If his main complaint was it's not similar to Persona, then that's some dog
things
shit.
are
Agreed.
hotting up now. Doom 2016 blasts its way in at number 5 with a healthy 42,000 dislikes.
Wait, what?
It
Didn't they
starts
give this a good
waffling
score?
on
Yeah,
how
that's a
Doom
pretty fair
2016
review for sure.
Feels to Doom.
For some, this is exactly what Doom should be, because it resembles the 1993 game of the same name. But with all due respect, those are desperately low expectations. but it doesn't
What?
really
I was
distinguish
thinking
itself
more
from
like a
most
modern day
games.
version, like, you know, the original Doom. I mean, that's not really MPS, but still it fits perfectly with the genre
No, it's
theme.
even a multiplayer genre.
This
It's
is
even a
why I love
multiplayer
this
genre
game.
I like,
It's
but
called
Doom
chess.
2016 just did not do it well. I was not a fan of
The game has
multiplayer.
been
I was
out for
pretty
4
excited
months.
for I
It
even
has
played the
been
beta.
great.
Or was
Then
it a
why
beta?
did
What
you
they
buy
release?
it?
Was it a tech preview? I
A
don't
puppy.
know. It's been so many years. But they released the multiplayer a bit early. It just wasn't that good. I wanted it to be good though.
I
but
think
just
it was
really
like
cool.
3 years ago.
Items. You're blowing my mind, IGN. Blowing my mind. So what was the verdict on one of the best shooters?
The original
in
Sims was
the last
awesome.
15 years?
Ooh, that is
A
stinky.
7.1 out of 10.
It still meets the
What the fuck?
He blew
Wait,
everybody's
what? They
mind.
gave it a 7?
Doesn't matter if we say
Yeah, that's
yes
some
or no.
trash. The cons being loadouts and repetitive arenas, so they must have graded it very harshly on the multiplayer, thinking that Doom was mainly a multiplayer title. Yikes. 2016 was overrated.
thought it was
Man,
coop
I couldn't
only.
disagree more. I recently replayed that too. That game is so fucking good and is still good. And the speedrun goes hard. Eternal's better, but 2016 is still
I'm not
good.
gaming today because I have school tomorrow.
Omega Ruby and Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh, they gave Sword and
Both
Shield a
got
great score, didn't they?
45,000 dislikes. And believe it or not, because it gave birth
I
to
think
the
it was
most
around
popular
7,000.
meme,
Too much water, yeah.
Which the reviewer gives a 7.8. So politely picking up their
That might be a
pitchforks,
fair
they
overall score.
completely
Couldn't tell you I didn't
annihilated
play
the
it.
review
Stupid
and
complaint,
created a
though.
meme. Right, onto Sword and Shield.
Same nostalgic
I
This
am
was
going
bad. I
into
remember
Douglas
this
Art
one.
majors now.
getting stuck in the past. It streamlines and fixes many of the series' long-running
Nope.
problems. From excessive to simply put, Sword and Shield are the best Pokemon games I have ever played.
Oh.
And I've played them all.
Big words from IGN there.
Ugh.
You must be right. They were one of the best games.
Showing allegedly leaked data mined comparisons of Sword and Shield's character models alongside character models
Hey,
from
I forgot
older
that.
games that seem to completely contradict what Game Freak had previously said. Stupidly high score for
Oh
another
god,
Pokemon
yeah.
game.
That I still think Sword and Shield is by far the worst Pokemon games like ever made, and that's saying something when most of them for the last like 12-15 years have been super lazy. All Pokemon games have been the same.
IGN
for a
is
decade.
trash.
They were for a
Except
while,
for
but
that
they
one
tried
where
something
you
with
had to
Arceus,
catch all the
it wasn't like a
Pokemon.
full hit. It wasn't a full miss either. They're going in the right direction. I think Arceus has
Okay,
good
I get
ideas
it
that they
now.
need to flesh out. But for the first time,
I'm
in a
not
long
sure
time,
about
Game
that
Freak's
one,
finally showing
Chief.
something different, like drastically different. That is, as opposed to just
And
the
it's
same
working.
formula they'd worn out.
So she was already on the Sony fanboys naughty dog list. And boy howdy, she pulled no
Who cares
punches
about the
here.
truth? The
Giving
only
This
thing
game
that
sucked.
matters is getting
This game
those
was
sweet,
fucking
sweet
trash
upvotes.
on release.
Calling it
Absolute
bloated
trash.
as well.
Days Gone ultimately feels bloated.
It's
like
fucking
a movie
trash.
That goes on for an hour
I
longer
still
than
see
I know
it.
they made it better
should
over
have.
time, but this
There's
is released.
definitely
It was
a good
terrible.
game in here somewhere. The dialogue's pretty bad.
But only if you promise to ride me as much as you ride your bike.
On the face of it, you'd think the reviewer
God,
has
I
a
forgot
point.
how fucking
Out of
stupid.
I know that is
context,
wrong.
does
I know
say
you have to
really
accept
clear.
that.
Jesus.
Then why did you give the 888th Assassin's Creed game a 9.2 only 6 months earlier?
See, that's why this is what I thought the video
Critics
would
are
focus
retarded,
on.
apparently.
They give extremely high scores to games that are just truly mediocre. The ones here is
Like
like
Dungeons
offending
Dragons.
fanboys of a title like Days Gone. That game was absolutely fucking miserable on launch. It was so bad.
I still don't know how to
So
play it
bad.
on sewer.
Like that, her review was far more generous than I would have been. It's most disliked. Yeah, I know.
The game is a very
I didn't
unique
realize it was gonna
experience,
be
but that's what I
thought
mean
more
by
people
it.
got mad about this as opposed to Days Gone's not a 6.5, it's a 7. What did I give it? I couldn't finish it.
I got a
I couldn't finish Days Gone,
7.5.
even voice meter. It was too fucking boring and bad. And broken. A lot of people forget how broken that game released. I
what the
couldn't-
heck?
I hated it.
Unbelievably, at number 2, we have a three-way tie. Alien Isolation, Death Stranding, and SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated reviews
Interesting.
all managed to achieve 51,000 dislikes each, and all three be giving Alien Isolation a 5.9 out of 10.
But when the genuine
What?
scares of being hunted by an unstoppable predator
Wait,
are
what?
so diluted by repetition and padding, Isolation's epic length really does work against it.
Oh, that's
Someday,
real bad.
someone
I like the
is
last
going
one.
to make an incredible alien
Oh,
video game
wow.
that checks every box. But sadly, Isolation is not it.
Needless to say,
What the
gamers
fuck?
were
I'm in.
outraged, and rightly so. It's one of the most atmospheric, tense,
Yeah, that is, like,
flavor-filled
actually
source
one of the
material
I agree with
horror
this
games
assessment.
ever made. even 8 years, the IGN gave Goat Simulator an 8 out of 10.
My favorite game of all
Six
time,
months
right?
You
earlier.
can't
One
keep
of the most
comparing two
lo-
wildly different reviewers and wildly different games and their scores. That is an actual nothing burger. But yeah, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible review for Alien Isolation.
Death Stranding, which they gave a 6.8.
Certain landmark games in recent years.
That's right, they're
A little
comparing
low,
games that never even
but I
came
agree.
out,
I didn't
and
really
that's
like
because
Death
they
Stranding.
don't want to
I
or
love
think
the
it's
atmosphere.
possible to make it
I
a good
even liked
game.
a lot of the narrative, as confusing, convoluted, and messy as it was. I just thought the game overall was fucking miserable.
I am not sure if
miserable
this
to
is
play.
good or
A
bad.
game I will never ever even remotely consider touching again. You gave it a 50.
Why
I
are
gave
you
it a
even
50.
playing
I
this
thought I gave it a
shit game in
60.
the first
I'm
place?
going off memory. It's an absolute terrible game from a gameplay perspective.
I think I'm
There's
gonna
nothing
do better
fun
than that on
about
the
it.
midterm.
There's nothing enjoyable about it. And the tedium isn't there as like a lesson or a deeper meaning. It's just tedium for the
Like
sake
what?
of tedium. Fucking hated it. Hated the gameplay.
This review apparently
I hate
isn't
gaming,
for
you know
everyone.
that.
Perfectly balanced.
Just
This
as
man
the
plays
game isn't
RuneScape
for
and thinks Death Stranding is boring? Yeah, but I'm under no delusion that RuneScape is fun. Maxing is one of the most miserable
It
things
really
I've ever done in
isn't.
my life. I don't defend the RuneScape grind. Quite the opposite. And now you're
But
now
lose
you're really
subscription
grasping
fees.
at straws. Death Stranding is straight up fucking miserable to play. You know, in fact, I compared a lot to RuneScape. Tedium for the sake of tedium. Grinding, rune crafting, I think I've spent the better part of like 250 hours over the last 2 months on rune crafting. And that's how it feels in Death Stranding. Just point A to point B a million fucking times.
I feel like I'm taking
traversing
crazy
slowly,
pills when I
maybe
compare the
setting
two
up your
games.
zip lines to make it a little bit quicker, but not by much. I set up an elaborate network of zip lines to
Bro,
try to
that
make
was
it
too
quicker in my
far.
playthrough, and it didn't improve it much. It's just fucking miserable to play. But there always was at least somewhat of a payoff with a really interesting world and story to it.
His main problem with the game is that it feels like a remake
I'm not
of a
sure about that one, the
17-year-old
bee.
mediocre SpongeBob
Yep.
SquarePants platformer that PS2 kids remember.
That's exactly what
fondly,
people
and
wanted.
that it doesn't feel as good as the
I love that game.
Spyro
I don't remember what he
remakes.
gave it though.
Accompanied by some imaginative improvements.
Some random
with
shit.
Passable but simplistic gameplay up to the standard of a 2020 platform.
That wasn't the point.
Let alone impressive
Missed the
recent
point.
remakes like the Spyro
I'm not saying it
Remastered
was.
trilogy. All three playable characters,
Man, what?
SpongeBob, Sandy,
That's a weird comparison because Spyro just did exactly what SpongeBob did. They just kept everything intact. The thing is with
I mean-
Spyro, it's just a better game, so it ages a little bit better. Battle for Bikini Bottom's still like just a fun.
Spyro
old
is
school
the
nostalgic
best.
game though.
Get this, too kid friendly.
Battle for Bikini Bottom is an incredibly easy platformer with only a few truly challenging sections thrown in. The difficulty jump in levels like SpongeBob
Thanks for
They came
sharing
in here
this gem of a
expecting
game
something
I'm
very
about to
different.
download it.
flash from the rest of the adventure. And when they're done, the challenge reverts to being simplistic and kid-friendly for its final few challenges.
Ultimately, us gamers are
That's
always
pretty
happy
silly.
with a game from our childhood. IGN review raining on their
That's
parade.
so low for no reason. Yeah, that one's pretty bad. Rough.
It's hopeless we might as well turn in my head for the 5-cent deposit.
2 is the most disliked IGN review of all
Did
time.
they
Coming
gave
in
it a
at
10, I
nearly
think,
double
right?
that of our number 2 games, a whopping 91,000 dislikes.
In IGN's defense, once again, no matter what they would have
I
given this
guess I'll
game,
just have to
they're
keep my
fucked.
mouth shut
If-
and be
If
quiet.
you reviewed Last of Us 2, you were fucked. No matter what. If you loved it, you get fucked. If you hated it, you get fucked. There has never been a more contentious title, a more divisive title in the history of gaming. There is not a single one that even comes close. People feel very strongly on both sides.
I agree with
so
you
no matter
100.
what, your opinion was going to be incendiary.
And so when IGN said this,
This is a weird way of talking about it. I said this in my moist meter. I feel like the game was out of order. If they had done this sequence in a more, I don't even know a better word, but a more logical order, I feel like it would have been much better received. Every beat that the story hits is a
I feel
fine
like I
beat
am
in a
speaking to
bad
an insane
spot.
schizophrenic
There
man.
was no reason to start with what happened. I'm going to try and avoid spoilers because I'm sure there's still people that want to play it. Getting into spoilers again.
You're right, I'm
There's
gonna
been
go
a lot
out
of
for
time
more
with the
beer.
Joel and Ellie flashbacks, like, sprinkled throughout randomly. They could have front-loaded those flashbacks more towards the start before the Joel death, and it would have made a lot more sense as opposed to just going, like, full raw right away, killing Joel. And they could have also built up the Abby flashbacks a little more in the front and then work up to her revenge on Joel as opposed to having it come out of the fucking nowhere, like a goddamn jump scare out of nowhere, and then have you play as that character for 12 hours. They could have built it up and then you feel almost sympathetic.
I think this
playing
is the
with them as
best
opposed to,
option.
like, try and, like, force you down the line to feel connected. They could have just done it in a better order,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it would have been a much better experience.
Is that IGN continue to be the worst source of video game reviews on the internet. And
I'm very openly not an IGN fan, but there is much worse. There's just straight up much
Please
worse.
elaborate.
Immediately off top of mind, Polygon. I don't think I have agreed with a Polygon review yet. They're not the worst. They are not good, but they are not the worst.
You really didn't say anything.
I have to agree
Is
with this
Kotaku even
statement.
like a legitimate
if you want to see
like
more
game
gaming
review site
content like
anymore?
this, and let me know what
I don't even
IGN
see the
review
reviews
pissed
anymore.
It's a
you
bunch
off
of
most.
clickbait garbage
was
that's
interesting.
been around since the dawn of time. It's no longer a credible source of information or anything, and it's basically just a platform for people to promote their own websites, so yeah, kind of like that.
That was interesting. I wouldn't have expected those to, well, some of those I would have expected to be on there. I really thought more people got upset about the extremely high scores to undeserving titles, but there was only 2 of those cases in there, which is weird. Never forget Halo. Never forget IGN gave
I'm surprised
Halo 4
there's
a
not more
9.8.
people upset about the high
Yeah.
scores.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. I truly don't believe any of these game outlets are paid off. I think a lot of that shit comes from fear of the fans. They know, like, they'll get eaten alive if they're too harsh on a beloved title, so they get very, very pussyish with it. I don't think they get paid off. They might. I mean, there definitely is a world where that's a
You'd be
possibility.
surprised.
I just don't think so. I really think it's more of just, like, the fear of being attacked by fans on Twitter or some shit.